Hi everybody, this is Julissa. Thank you so much for coming back to my channel. It is October 8th, Sunday, 2023. I'm here, guys, real quick to speak about what's happening in Israel, okay? I've been uneasy this whole weekend. I had a terrible dream last night. It was just chaotic. Once again, I see myself with luggage and going to a city and seeing people on the streets, and like we're all like trying to catch a train, and then we get in the wrong train, things like that. Here's the thing though, when things like this, everything that's happening right now that started yesterday, Saturday, in Israel, and you see how immediately it became a war. Right now, Israel is at war, okay? And the importance of that in the Bible, right, is that, it speaks about rumors of wars and all of that. And we know that Jesus is coming back soon. Like 2 days ago, right? I think it was Friday night. I was just going to my bed, and if I didn't kneel down, like I think the presence of the Lord was just gonna bring me down to the floor and pray. Like I felt this like super force just forcing me to pray this whole week. I've been feeling also that I needed to go on a fast, okay? And here's the thing though, right? When we see things like this and we know Jesus is coming back, we're like, okay, should I put my life on hold, or should I just, continue on with everything? And I'm thinking, wait a second, like all my trust is in the Lord, right? And we know things like this were going to happen. And the earthquake that happened earlier today in Afghanistan, killing so many people, okay, it puts in perspective life in general. We're all so fragile. Here we are so upset about somebody, the way they look at us, somebody who cuts us off on like when we're driving, and we're like, we're not gonna let them go, right? When we're driving and things like that. And people right now in you know in Israel and in Afghanistan, like their life has been completely changed forever, okay? And it's just so crazy how it takes something like this for us to see our life into perspective. Like we're so concerned about life, right? About, make sure we do this by a certain date and by a certain age and all of that. And we know that things like this were going to happen before Christ returns. So what's most important? At the end of the day, the most important thing is to be right with Jesus Christ, to share the gospel of Jesus Christ. And like there is a world out there who's dying, guys. We're like, the world is in war right now. For Israel to be already at war, officially at war right now. Like right now, I was just looking at something, and they're launching attacks against they're already launching attacks so crazy. Let me just read to you, against Hamas militants. Let me just read to you. At least 1,000 people dead, said the Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu declares war after Hamas terrorists launched massive attack. There's so much footage coming out right now from Israel, right? They're both attacking each other. They're grabbing and kidnapping their own soldiers, right, from each different group, and it's just um, it is so crazy. And I saw a video, it's floating on the internet, about this soldier, woman, Israeli soldier, woman, female, right? She was taken into custody, and she's full of blood. Her body is filled with blood, and she's grabbed and pushed around with all these men. And I'm thinking to myself, what a nightmare she's going through right now. What a nightmare. Like, you look at something like that, and we're so concerned for what we dealing with in this moment, right? We're like, oh, you know what? I live over here. That's so far away from me. I don't even need to worry about it. You need to remember what the land of Israel is to God, okay? Out of all the places, He picked Israel, Jerusalem, for Jesus' birth, right? You have to remember that. It's so prophetic, everything that's happening right now, everything that's in the Bible. And, we're seeing it. We are living this ends of times right now. Like I tell you, 2 days ago, I could, like, if I didn't kneel down, I was going to fall. Like, God just pushed me to, this force just pushed me to pray in on my knees. okay, and like get into fasting and prayer. And I know I'm not the only one saying this, and just sharing the gospel, right? I was talking to a neighbor the other day, and like yesterday, not the other day, and I'm like, man, I should have just invited them to church. Like, why did I do that? I'm like, I'm gonna look for another opportunity to do that. And we have to, like, there's no time now for us to be like, let me plan this event for next year. I'm not saying to put our life on hold. There's a lot of things also that I'm planning to do before the year ends. I just did a fashion show. I have so many plans for my collection and all of that. But we can't lose sight of what's happening right now. Is Bible prophecy taking place right before our eyes? So sometimes you have to put and say, you know what do you want me to do? Let it be your will, God. I don't want to miss this. Okay, I don't want to miss this opportunity to share the gospel to even more people, right? I mean, it's almost midnight right now. I'm like, I feel so uneasy. All the images that are coming from Israel, and people are like, oh, don't look at the news. We don't want to look at the news. We don't want to get upset. That is so, like, ignorant for you to be a Christ believer and be ignoring what's happening in the land of Israel right now. Okay, it is complete ignorance. We need to pay attention. We need to pray, fast, and pray. We are living in the last days, and people are going to say to, oh, we've been hearing that for years and years, that Jesus is coming back soon. Everything that's happening, everything that has been happening in the last couple of years, that tells you these are the last days, okay? And we get closer and closer, and people are having encounters with God, and people, like I said, I'm being forced to like kneel and pray, okay, and just be in the presence of the Lord and fast. And we people are having dreams and things like that. It's for us to pay attention, okay? um for me, like I saw images of the airport in Israel, and tourists, they're leaving, right? Like they're rushing out of the country. And we see the immigration thing that's happening here in the US, in New York specifically, and the people are rushing coming through that border, right? And there's so much speculation saying a lot of these young men that are coming through the border are actually soldiers. So things are shaping up. It's almost like there is this preparedness that's already happening. And look what just happened yesterday. Israel entered a war already. Okay, this morning there was an earthquake in Afghanistan that killed so many people. Okay, I don't even know how many. Like, I'm trying to see if I can get that for you guys right now, in case, because we get so used to news, and it's like, oh yeah, it happens all the time. We're like, it like brushes our, we don't, we're like, oh yeah, that happened already, whatever. Like, it happens so often. 2,400 people lost their life today in an earthquake in Afghanistan. Okay. um and then we have the situation with Israel, right? And as of right now, like I said, it's midnight. They're attacking, okay, sending launches, and they're attacking each other. Let me just get more information here. So they're attacking Hamas, right? In Gaza. And Israel already, like, brought down a complete tower over there. Let me see here some news for you guys. Israel embassy vandalized with swastika graffiti in Colombia, ambassador says. So here, look at what, see, the embassy in Colombia, the Israel embassy in Colombia, this is breaking news right now, has been vandalized. And we saw, like, a lot of the people that, well, I don't look at the news that's happening in the Middle East, I don't even care. Like, that's so far away from me. Like, it's not, the war is not in Colombia. Look, they're already being vandalized, okay? And one thing will lead to the next, right? We have to get right with God. I'm not trying to make this video or episode longer than it should be, because I am trying to do it in Spanish also, and it's super late. I just wanted to come here, guys, real quick and tell you this, right? Um, if you have been feeling the need to pray and fast lately more than ever, that is God knocking on your door. I think God is pushing all of our all of us are Christian people, right? People of God, Christ believing people to say, you know what, it's showtime. Okay, this is not the time for us to be like, oh yeah, I'll start a fast like next week or something, maybe in November, right before Thanksgiving, or I'll start fasting in a couple days. We need to get on with the program because, I'm not trying to sound sarcastic, nothing like that. All I'm saying is like, sometimes we're like, oh, I was waiting to see the sign on the cross to be like, oh, Jesus is back. Oh, how did that happen? I didn't even realize he was already here. Like, it's time, okay? So pray for everybody who is affected by this war right now that started yesterday. Let's pray for everybody in Afghanistan who has been affected by this terrible earthquake, okay? And, pray, get into fasting, forgive, okay, share the gospel, invite people to share. Like, there's no time for us to be shy about anything, right? We have to be bold for Christ, okay? So if you have an opportunity to say to somebody, hey, just to let you know, I go to this church, if you guys ever want to come, you know that's an invitation, a quick invitation to anybody. It's time for us to get on with everything that's happening. Okay, thank you so much, everybody, for coming back to my channel and listening in the podcast. Have a good day, everybody. God bless.